Poso maoni wiak, waiwanan kitanan ni mua e yoski piataya posnotaman e yum MITW Podcast. A yospis piataya posnapi notaman e ne hisikimaka e yoso matnamin e hakihi.
Posto, you're listening to the Menominee Indian Tribe of Wisconsin podcast. We are your hosts, Gary Dodge
and Sheena Wapoose.
Vaughn Bowles, Public Information Officer for the Menominee Indian Tribe of Wisconsin, is joining us today. How are you?
Morning, guys. I'm really well, thanks.
So, is the Omicron surge still declining?
Absolutely. It's really exciting. I know last week we mentioned how it kind of spiked up and was shaped a lot like an icicle. Well, now it's doing the exact opposite and coming down at a super fast rate, which is great news. We're almost back down to levels that we had around December before the spike hit. So it's really great news overall. And that's statewide and local. So.
Okay. And then I've also been hearing that any recent COVID cases, they're considering 100% Omicron. Is there a way for them to tell exactly?
So if you get it, you won't be able to tell from your symptoms, but from the number of cases they've gene sequenced, about 99.98% of all COVID cases now are Omicron. So if you have COVID, it's probably an Omicron case.
Okay, and then, too, recently I've been hearing that some treatments don't work for Omicron. Is this true? And then can you expand on which ones?
Yeah, that is true. There are a number of things that have become less effective as the virus is mutated, from its original strain. So they found that there are only 1 to 2 monoclonal antibodies that are actually effective at treating severe cases of Omicron now. Fortunately, the severe cases of Omicron are less frequent. A lot more people are getting it, but a lot of people are experiencing a lot greatly reduced symptoms, I should say. So that is good and bad on, depending on how you look at it. And then, there are also some issues with the vaccines. The vaccines are becoming less effective at stopping it, because it was originally created for, the wild strain. The farther away you get from that genetically, the less effective they become.
Are they working on different vaccines?
That's a great question. Somewhat loaded. They have the ability to make the vaccines for the new variants. Mm-hmm. They have not put a lot of them into manufacturing or production right now, and I'm not really sure why, but they have the capacity to do it. So okay. I know they made, millions, hundreds of millions of doses of the original, and they may try to, burn through that inventory first before putting out new ones that are tailor-made for the new variants. That's part of the reason why they're calling for, second, third, fourth booster shots in some cases and stuff. They basically just want to keep people's immune system active against Omicron infections or COVID infections in general.
So if you still have symptoms of COVID after 5 days, should you end isolation?
Oh my gosh, no, don't end your isolation. If you're still experiencing symptoms, stay home. Please don't go to work and get everyone sick. Please don't go to school and get everyone sick. Stay home, drink lots of fluids, rest, get better. Once your symptoms start subsiding, re-enter society after that. So please don't go to work sick.
Okay, and then I've been hearing about the BA2 variant. What is that?
So the BA2 variant is a sub-variant of Omicron. They call the stealth Omicron, which sounds better than BA2, but it's kind of unnerving when you think of it that way. It's a variant of Omicron that is more vaccine evasive, so the vaccines are basically useless against this variant. Fortunately, what they've found is the symptoms are pretty mild from it, so that is a good sign.
Is it as easy to spread as Omicron?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
So, yeah, it is what it is.
Right. Does it seem like that's going to be the next variant that kind of takes over?
it's plausible, but with the amount of spread we've seen from Omicron, we might have reached just a natural herd immunity from the amount of people that have been infected. We've had over 1,000 cases of Omicron COVID just locally, so that's a quarter of our population.
Right.
And if you look at it from long perspective, about a quarter of our population had COVID last year as well, making about 50% of the population naturally immune to COVID. And they're finding that natural immunity is about 6 times more effective at keeping people healthy versus the vaccinations. Also, when people have been sick and they do get reinfected, which doesn't happen a lot, I'm going to throw that out there for everyone who's wondering. It doesn't happen a lot, but they've found that the people that get reinfected tend to be viral endpoints, and they don't infect people as frequently. It's kind of weird how that works. Yeah, so it may explode. Hopefully it won't at this point.
So why has the FDA paused the monoclonal antibody treatments? Wow, I can't say that.
No, it's totally understandable. No, the reason they paused them is because they're being less effective.
Okay.
And medically, if you have a ineffective medicine against something, you don't want to give it to someone because it creates resistant variants, and you can do more harm to the patient. So they've been discontinuing a lot of monoclonal antibody use. They've also run out of a lot of monoclonal antibodies due to the surge they had from Omicron. They just weren't prepared to handle like the explosive numbers that they had. So there's low levels. It's less effective, and in some cases we're having difficulties manufacturing enough to keep up. So there's supply and demand issues as well.
So is there any treatments right now that are available for people who do have COVID?
There are 2 monoclonal antibodies right now. I can't pronounce them because I'm terrible that way. They have really funky names, but there are effective treatments out there. Mainly when people are getting COVID at this point, if you're not in the hospital, they have you, drink lots of fluids, rest, and take anti-inflammatories if you need it, because a lot of what they're finding is COVID causes inflammation of various tissues and organs and whatnot. And so as long as they can control the the inflammation, you're usually okay. But right now we haven't seen a lot of extreme cases like that, so you mainly just need to sleep off your headache and stuffy nose.
Okay. Can you talk about when the next vaccine clinic is coming up?
Yeah, there'll be vaccine clinics this Tuesday and Thursday of the next this coming week. That will be February 1st and 3rd. It'll be at the Face Center, the Family Center. It'll be for anyone ages 5 and up. Kids can get second doses if they need them still. It is by appointment only, and hours are going to be from 10 a.m. to 4:15.
Do you know how do people make appointments?
They can call the clinic for that. The number is 715-799-5769, and they can get people scheduled for the vaccination clinic.
And then lastly, is there any updates on the cell phone tower project?
Yes, it's good news. Yay for our side. All the towers are up. So all the towers are up, and actually the Wolf River Development Corporation is trying to hire a business development manager. They're going to work with, obviously, Wolf River and Bug Tussle, the group that put the towers up. And they'll be marketing and selling the AT&C services that Bug Tussle is going to offer when the towers go live this spring. I believe the flip-on date is in March. So that service will be offered to the community fairly soon.
Great. Is there anything else you want to tell folks this week, Vaughn?
Stay healthy, stay warm out there, everyone. It's going to be a cold one, so, remember, don't get hypothermia. And have a good week.
Thanks, Vaughn.
You bet. Thank you.
Waiwanan for listening to the Menominee Indian Tribe of Wisconsin podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. You can also listen to the podcast on menominee-nsn.gov under the Community tab. Keep up to date by following us on Facebook at MITW Podcast. If you have any topic suggestions or questions about COVID-19, you can send those to us at podcast@mitw.org.